Okay, so one of the last skills that we teach you for yellow belt to go on to orange belt is actually probably one of the most important skills that you will use throughout the rest of the ranks. And it is what we call Jobki and or Milgi. The concept behind it, or the principle we have behind it, is what we call our alternative directions of response, which simply says if someone grabs us, there's roughly 5 different ways that we can respond and redirect to then do something bad back to them. And so, as we've alluded to in class, one of the fundamental defining characteristics of Hapkido is joint locks and throws. This is how we get into those joint locks and throws. Now, we use those alternative directions of response. There are 5 of them, as I alluded to. Okay? We use them in different things, ultimately leading up to those joint locks and throws. But we do them in a couple of sub-skills first. And so actually for orange belt, you don't actually have to do as much of the joint locks and throws as you do these sub-skills, okay? And yes, you do, in my school, we do the joint locks and throws a little bit more, but what we really want you to focus on is a couple of subset skills. The first one is what we call Jobki. Jobki means is basically refers to grabbing or re-grabbing. So they grabbed us and we turn around and grab them back to do something to us. Okay, so Jobki means, for our purposes, re-grab, but in big neon letters, a big neon sign should be flashing. When I say Jobki, you should be thinking off balance, because that is the main purpose of Jobki. Is so when my partner grabs me, okay, right? So when she grabs me, most people don't just stand there and let me do some type of armbar or whatever else. Right? They tend to resist that. So the way we combat that is, 1, we blow smoke, we distract like we always do, and 2, right, we create a situation where they are off balance. Once they're off balance, then it's a whole lot easier for me to apply the joint lock to the situation. So our Jobki creates that off balance while also simultaneously putting their arm in an advantageous, their hand, whatever lock we're attacking, okay, the wrist, the arm, the elbow, whatever, in a disadvantageous position for them, for the proper position for me to do a joint lock down the road. So we're not focusing on the joint lock just yet. We're again doing a sub-skill, but if your Jobki is bad, then you are going to stumble, fumble, and bumble trying to get the locks and the throws. If your Jobki is good, your locks will fall into place. Right? So this is why we put so much emphasis on this. And the alternative directions of response and this focus on Jobki is really one of the points of genius of the USHF curriculum. So a lot of other Hapkido curriculums, you know, they'll do it in other styles or kind of branches or organization of Hapkido have tried to come up with their own classification system or whatever, and there are some decent ones out there, but I've never found anything that that is anywhere close to the genius of these 5 alternative directions of response. Okay, so basically I said she grabs me. There are 5 different ways that I can respond to do this back. A lot of Hapkido systems is just numbers. Technique number 1 is this. Technique number 2 is this, right? And there's no kind of method or reason in that. So you get a lot of numbers that way, right? So just looking at the 5, the 5 that we have, up, down, inside, outside, through, and front, which I will elaborate on in a minute. But just looking at that, she gives me, here's 5 of them. What if I use this hand? Now there's 5 more this side, right? What if she does cross grip? Well, here's 5 and here's 5. What if she does double hand? Right? Well, here's 5 over here, here's 5, here's 5, here's 5. 2 on 1, right? Here's 5, here's 5, here's 5, here's 5. All those from the elbow, all those from the shoulder, from behind. That's a lot of numbers. Okay? And sometimes you hear people talk about Hapkido has, I don't know, 3,600 techniques, or people try to, I don't know. I've never counted. I don't pretend to know them all anyway, but I've never counted, but I know a lot of them come from inside, outside, up and down, through, and front are 5 directions of response, either with one hand or the other. Okay, so it really streamlines and helps us catalog the movements for a variety of techniques when we get into our joint locks and throws. Okay? The first direction we have is up and down. And we are going to start it from a same side wrist grab. Yes, you can do it other ways. We got to start somewhere. We start with your basic up and down from same side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my tiger mouth shape. I'm going to bring my hand down and punch it up. Okay? I don't try to lift up into her. I might have to like bend my knees, drop my elbow, and then punch up a little bit. Homeostatic movement. And this is the hard part. My thumb and my middle finger are going to grab. Okay? We're going to grab with this finger. So not my index finger. This grip is stronger than this grip. And this is your Hapkido gang sign, right? The KHF symbol. Right? Sometimes I wear other go box. It's on the flag over there. Turn. Look at the flag. All the way over there. Right? See the one with got the gang sign on it, right? Okay, come back. Okay. So, if we're allowed out of our homes and I see you out somewhere and I do that to you, I'm not being cheesy. I am being cheesy, but I am giving you the Hapkido gang sign. Okay, so when we do this, I grab with my thumb and middle finger, not my pointer finger. I'm going to roll, and this is the hard part, I'm going to roll her, use my thumb to roll her hand over, her palm is going to come over, her elbow is going to roll up. As I bring the hand back down a little bit, as I do that, I want to get away from this other hand, I don't want it to hit me, so I'm going to move, I'm going to do a back pivot to move away from that other hand. In doing so, I pull her off balance by using that back pivot. If she just holds on and I just move my feet, we've done this demonstration earlier in the class. She didn't go anywhere. She still didn't go anywhere. It's not this foot, it's this foot. Actually, it's this. It's the Dan Jun. But if right now, I'm just doing the splits. When my center of mass moves, and she can hold on, right? Then she comes with me. Now, I don't want to pull her on top of me, but you get the point. I want you to cover one, just like we talked about when we taught you the back pivot, I want you to cover one tatami over, one mat width back, away from the other hand. So she starts to grab me, I'm getting out of the way as I'm creating that, because this is an index, she's grabbing to hit me, okay, so I'm moving back out of the way, getting away from the other hand as I am doing this re-grab. So I know there's a lot of detail to this one. I'm going to keep talking about this one. A lot of this holds for all of them, right? But we need to cover this on the first one, so we just happen to be doing this in up and down, okay? I have to be a good dancing partner. So as I do this movement, I don't leave her behind and then try to row her, even if I kind of turn my body and turn my hips and try and throw her past me, that is still not the same, right? I keep my arms into my own body where I am strong, in my own workspace, and then I move those, okay? Sometimes to get the habit, and if you, again, have a willing partner for this, which I hope you do, right? So even if she just holds on, okay? I'm just gonna make my shape, I'm just gonna grab her, it doesn't even have to be a perfect, I keep my elbow to my body, and I keep moving her, I can walk her across the room that way, right? Just so you get in the habit of everything moving together. We have to be good dancing partners. I get to lead. Most of the time she has to lead because I don't know what I'm doing, but I get to lead, but we have to move together. There should not be this lag and then pull with my arm. I also, and this is the hard part, and this is the part, unfortunately, until you feel it for yourself, it's really hard to try to convey this over. This is the hardest part to do online, okay? My thumb is going to help roll her hand over as I push this over, and that's kind of annoying in and of itself, okay? So again, her palm is up and her elbow is up as I finish this. The alternative is for me to move my arm around hers, but this is rotator cuff. The elbow out flag like this is a weak shape. It's hard to carry weight and be strong like this, right? So this is not a good position to try to be doing this motion. You will a little bit as you start out, okay? And it's okay if the elbow comes up a little bit. But the better you get at this thumb roll, the better I can keep this close to my body instead of being out here like this, okay? Now, once her palm and elbow get over, then I am in position to attach and do my joint lock later. That comes later. But again, if your jockey is not good and you don't put their palm and elbow over the way it's supposed to do in an up and down motion, their elbow is not going to be in position. It's not going to be, I'm going to have to fumble, I'm going to have to make adjustments or whatever else. Right, so if I do it properly, I blow smoke, I back pivot, I'm in position to do this. She's bent over, she's off balance, I'm in my workspace, off angle away from the other hand, we move together. That is up and down, okay? So, press pause on the tape, do that like a million times, on after you do that, okay? The next one in the series, up and down. The next one is inside. Inside starts by going out, and then it comes back along on the horizontal plane. So up and down, as the name implies, goes up and down. Inside goes side to side towards the midline of the body. It also looks a lot like an inside block, right, from other martial arts or even our martial art when we do our inside block this way. So it looks a lot alike, so inside motion. So now my tiger mouth shape is sideways, so when I do this, okay, as I come across, as I do this across, my thumb goes on the underneath, my fingers, the rest of my fingers stay on top, and eventually this grip falls off and mine pinches on. Once again, gang sign, I'm in the notch of the wrist. That's kind of painful in and of itself, a good grip there. Okay, here, this way. So I would encourage you to really over-exaggerate, make it come way out and then way back in. As I do that, guess what? I'm going to blow smoke first. I'm going to back pivot as I do that away from the other hand. As we said just a second ago, I don't move, I don't run away before I've got the grip. I'm starting my motion, and then once I have it, we move together. So now, the grip for inside motion ends up with her knuckles straight up and down. The knuckles go straight up and down this way. Okay? So this sets me up for a different joint lock or wrist lock, okay, when we add those on later. Okay? But for right now, we are just focusing on getting in position that, again, that lock is going to be very easy for me to catch if I can get to that position first. So at speed, Up and down looks a lot like inside. And I mean, technically there could be a little bit of gray area, but really make one up and down and one side to side, and the end position of her hand and arm is different because they are going to set up something different, a different joint lock. The next one is outside. Okay, sorry, go ahead, do inside like a million times, come back, press pause, come back. The next one is outside. Outside motion, I make a big circle. My palm stays down as we continue the revolution. Okay? This way. Big circle out this way. Here. It looks like my outside block, and like from Taekwondo or something like that, right? So a big circle outward. And as I finish the revolution, her hand starts to fall off as mine falls on. So I'm still grabbing with thumb and middle finger, but then as my hand falls on top of hers, I get extra leverage because kind of in the hollow, her thenar falls right into kind of the palm of my hand. This, the meat of your thumb, word for the day is thenar, okay? So I'm still grabbing the wrist, but I'm also getting that extra leverage. I don't slide around to the outside or just on top. If I can see their thumb, you are the palm of, if I can see the palm of her hand and this part of her thumb, you are doing it wrong. Because your hand should be on top of that. That gives me some additional torque as I back pivot and her hand folds in like this. One more time. This one, you have to take a little extra time to finish this revolution before you finish the circle. Right? If I get in a hurry and move too quickly, she's got small hands, it's kind of hard for her to hold on, but okay, when I get to here, I don't pull her on top of me. It's not a back row. That's a great workout, but that's not what we're doing right now. I back pivot to that angle, but as I do that, look, see at this point, see how my hip and my hand are connected? My foot is moving, that's helping me bring this down. But I finish the revolution and her elbow comes in. Okay? So this is very important that we have this kinkage. Okay? So the lock we end up doing is what we call a 3/4 turn that has two parts. There is fold and there is twist. And if we put both of those things together, she goes that way. Okay? Now you need both of those parts. But here's the important thing. The purpose of a joint lock is not pain. Pain is a perk. The purpose of a lock is control. So I have to get to her center of her body to control her body. Okay? Right now, nothing is happening until like kinks or links of a chain that have to get kinked up. I have to connect wrist, elbow, shoulder, now center, now I have it. Now I know I have it, okay? Now she can't hit me, even if she wanted to, right? I mean, she can reach with her arm a little bit or kick, but yeah, she can't, right? You can't. If I'm doing this and I don't have connection, absolutely, she can do what she wants, smack me upside the head, whatever else. I need to get I have to get the center. Then I have her, okay? If I don't finish this circle and there's slack in this, right, she's going to smack me upside the head as I'm trying to apply the lock. Okay? I'm going to slide pull on this one. Hold on first, right? But if I get the kinkage already from the jockey, then it doesn't take much. Okay? Okay? Then it doesn't take much to finish the lock. big circle. I'm not gonna do the lock, I'm just gonna do the jockey. But it's kind of uncomfortable even without the other hand. Then we put the lock on and they've got to fall to the ground, okay? Again, we're not doing the lock yet. We're simply doing the off balance. But again, if you do that part and you've got not only the off balance, but the body kinked up, it doesn't take much to add on the lock. If your jockey is poor, you have more work to do. The next one is through. The through motion, I'm actually going to use this other hand. I'm going to scissor off, right? So if they're big and strong, right, I might have to like use both hands. I scissor this hand off, right? I should hear a good smacking sound when I rip this off, okay? But basically to do the motion, instead of doing a back pivot, now I'm doing a cross step and turn. Her body, my body, and her arm make a door. Everybody see the door? Okay? I am going to do a cross step and turn motion under her arm or through the door. Hence the term through. So once again, I blow smoke, I scissor off. I do a cross step and turn, and I take her hand below her knee, and so in our situational, some of you have had more time to actually practice this than others in person. Some of us from like IU or whatever haven't had a chance to do this yet when we're studying remotely. But remember we said there was the throw called Find the Triangle, where her feet make 2 points on a vertice. I pull her hand back to that third vertice, she falls down. Right, the same, there's a corresponding point out here. That is where I'm taking her hand. I'm pulling it out and then down. Okay? And they don't always have to fall for you, right? She made me look good a little bit there. But then there is that sensation of getting pitched off balance as you do it. I have got to take her hand below her knee to that point. If I just turn around and do this, she's just going to turn around and hit me. Okay? So that doesn't do any type of off balance. Right? In fact, I help turn her into me for that punch. I have to take her low enough and pitch her forward enough. So this first step is a little bit shallow, right? So if I take a big step back here, now when I pull, I'm pulling her back on top of me. My first step on this cross step and turn is a little shallow, so I kind of cast out. When this second foot takes a step, that's when this hand goes down. So see how this kind of works together to send her out and down. And again, they don't always fall down. They don't really have to. But if she's compelled to, okay. But usually, right, you're going to get kind of this, they're going to take a step or whatever. But that sensation out and down. So later on, we're going to turn this into a joint lock when she's on. But my arm bar, I don't have to, instead of trying to pull her down from up here, I used off balancing to put her down there, and now she's already down and can't resist, and the lock's already only 2 feet away from the ground. Life is a whole lot easier. Okay? The last one, okay, pause. Okay, change our angle a little bit for this last one, right? So the last one is our front motion, okay? And when we do our front motion, it's the exact same thing as the through motion, but instead of going under the arm, we go the other direction, the other cross step and turn, if you will. I blow smoke, I scissor off, and now I take her palm up. Okay? I do that same cross step and turn motion, but instead of going under her arm, I step across or in front of her. Hence the term front. Now, the way we do this for jockey is we got to be very careful with our partner. So please listen to all the safety instructions before we move on. Okay? When I go across her in front, what is implied is if I hold on as I do this, and I take this, I'm going to come out and under, and this is a shoulder and elbow lock, okay? And I go this way. And the only way so I can be nice and cast her out and around this way where she has to come around that, okay? That's the nice version. The real way is I basically I have her elbow and shoulder locked so that she has to jump and land in the position of landing over here. Are you ready? Right, yeah, so no, this is really, I'm not going to lie, a lot of us older people, older timers, I should say, I should not incriminate myself like that, older timers in the martial arts, figured out how to do this throw out of necessity a lot earlier than black belt, but this is a black belt throw, officially a black belt throw in my school, because that's a hard throw to go up and over to save your elbow and shoulder. But you might have to at some point, okay? But basically that is what I'm doing, that is the motion that we are doing if we held on, okay? And actually, there's an angle that you can change to where then she can't break fall out of it, right? So the flip fall is actually an implication or a safety, but then I made a safety. And now we're making an implication of an implication of an implication, right, for safety's sake. And so, but that in essence is what we are doing. Okay? So I scissor off. Her palm goes to the ceiling. What I'm going to do is keep my thumb and finger, I'm going to make like a ring around her wrist, and I'm going to slide around her hand so her hand is not getting that grip or torque like before. Then I do the same circular casting motion that we just did for through. I take her hand in an ellipse, out and down to where her hand goes below her knee. It goes out a little bit, so the sensation they should have is this up and over. Again, it might make them flip if you did it emphatically. You don't have to, especially presumably you do not have mats where you are. So again, you can be nice to your partner. Now, one of the other things that we have to be very careful as we practice this is our partner will dance on us. They don't know any better, okay? So people will naturally, when I take their arm and start to go under, will start to spin around with us like this, okay? Now, if that happens, we have plenty of adjustments we can make to deal with that. If that starts to happen, right, we have plenty of other throws kind of in this continuum to deal with that contingency, but that's not what we're doing right now, because right now we are making a big circular motion. But if I just, without paying attention, okay, your partner should not dance. Partners don't dance. But if I'm not paying attention and they did, and I'm not paying attention, and I still make this big circular motion and take her hand over there and down there, that's not going to be good for their shoulder. Okay? So that is on me, that is on actually both of us in a way. Your partner will stay very still and let you take their arm in that circular motion. They will not dance. But I will double check and make sure they have not danced before I turn and finish that circular motion so that I don't run the risk of doing that. Okay, so I'm going to double check, right, before I do the motion to make sure they have not. But partners don't dance. Okay? So again, we have things to deal with that if that does happen, but our goal is to work on just this one motion first. All the other shoulder locks and throws that come out of this position, okay, come later. But we need this general point of off balance, this front motion first. So one more time, a quick inventory is up and down, inside, outside, through, and she danced a little on me, front, okay? I pulled her arm pretty hard, she kind of turned, okay? But front, okay? Up and out, inside, outside, through, and front. Learn it, live it, and love it.